Is it just a new platform for us to design UI for?
If I'm on the go, got a sick idea, hey Claude, this is sick, add it to Clipflow, it comes back and shows me a nice little widget saying that's been added.
By making a decision about what to show, you've probably done a better job than someone who doesn't know what they're meant to be looking for when they go in there. All right. Speaking of wasting time, I have a question for you guys. So basically, we spend a lot of time finessing design and user interface. And then at the same time, chat's coming around with model context protocol so that you can chat to system interfaces. And my general hypothesis is that the UI will always work and will always be important, but how much interaction with our system becomes model context protocol interaction over time? Like what percentage do you reckon we have to worry as much about UI, or is opening it up to AI chatbots enough that most people never interact with your system?
So that's an easy one to answer, Daryl.
Take all your work, shove it directly in the bin.
Yeah, are we wasting our time? Are we?
Yeah, look.
What do you reckon? What do you reckon, Ken?
Yeah, so that's it. It's such a good question. Selfishly, I just love making good UIs, right? But they say a picture is worth 1,000 words, right? So how can you represent things like, think about a chat as an interface. Now, I already have the rebuttal to almost what I'm going to say now, but you're talking to a chatbot and it's giving you back text. So it's like, can you tell me what projects are in progress? It's like, okay, cool. So it tells you the name, then it says in progress. Whereas if you had like a view, like, well, we're looking at a Kanban right now, I can instantly go to the in progress or in record mode, whatever, and I can instantly see those. You know, I can go, boom, those two. So that's, that's there. So we have that. It's much easier to see stuff like that. Whereas, in chat it's harder. They are working on, that being said, they are working on ways to show little widgets or little pieces of UI inside of chat. That's going to be the game changer, when you can basically stay in one app and then reach out to everything via the MCP protocol and actually go into Clipflow and say, okay, tell me what's there. And then it pulls up little tiles. Like that's going to be sick.
Yeah.
But there's still things that, like, how much of the functionality of an app is the chat interface going to try and take over? Like, could you review a video inside the chat? Like you say, could you pull up the next 3 videos that I need to review and then just like play them in line in that widget? Like that's cool. That's cool. But you're still going to be building a widget, I imagine.
Yes.
You're not going to rely on
OpenAI. You're right. Yeah.
There's still UI there, just in a different format. It's like now thinking like we're thinking the consumption is happening through a chatbot.
Yes.
Which could be like, when we got phones, like we had mobile. Now we had to design for that interface. Is it just a new platform for us to design UI for?
Yeah.
I still think you're going to have the big screen, right? Like, when the phone came out, everyone's like, you do everything on your phone. And it's like, yeah, you consume on your phone, but you don't try and do work on your phone. That's a disaster waiting to happen. It's very difficult.
Yeah.
That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, real quick, our crew is on a mission to build the ultimate content OS, and we need your help. Think of it like a single purpose-built place for you to manage all your projects and your content team. So if you're a content creator, or you manage or help other people make content, check out Clipflow and turn that chaos into calm. All right, back to the episode.
Yeah, I'm just looking at this screen now and I'm like, how do you get it to tell you all of that information? And then some of the like pathways to get things done will be much better because you just ask it and it tells you. But like, go into a project, Zach, and then you're like, how do I know what I need to be doing next? Do you have to say like, show me all the navigation items, all the things I can do inside a project, and then you have to read a huge list? Like, this is faster. Show me all the videos in there. Yeah. This is faster. It's already there with all the tasks. Like, by making a decision about what to show, you've probably done a better job than someone who doesn't know what they're meant to be looking for when they go in there. I can't see how that part's going to be better. I think the screen's going to be super important. However, like the speed of being able to go like we have search there to find a project, but say for example, I'm like, I just want to see all my unreviewed media that I still need to review. And it gives you a list and you click and go into Clipflow. Like that pathway to get there is really fast and it takes a heavy lifting off us to have to like make that really easy to do here. So I think that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, dude. I've been messing around with this with Claude because you can use MCP directly with Claude, and I've been using it with Todoist, which is how I track all my tasks. And there's not been one moment where I'm like, let me do this with Claude instead of Todoist, which is the quickest thing ever. You know what I'm saying? But obviously I think it does scale at some level. I'm currently testing it at the moment, which is like having our budget in Google Sheets and then using Claude connected to that to just like add stuff to it. So when we're out at coffee, hey, add 550 for coffee. Who am I kidding? It's like 780 in Brisbane. Add 780 for coffee, for small, at this cafe. Yeah. That's kind of sick. So immediately not having to go in and type stuff out in an interface, I can see it there. But I still go into Google Sheets to see it. So like I'm still looking at it.
Still do budgeting in Google Sheets with all the SaaS platforms that are out there.
Bro, I've tried, that's a whole other video. I've tried so many freaking SaaS platforms and they all are cooked.
15 budgeting tools.
Oh, dude, that would kill me. I couldn't do it. But yeah, like, so I can see it being a partner, but exactly what you guys said. How does it replace this for me? I'm using this. By the way, this is Clipflow. You should check it out. I'm using Clipflow. I've got to plug our own thing every day for like literally like 6 to 7 hours because this is how we're managing all our team. We're posting like 5 times a day, whatever. I can't imagine just being like, hey, Claude, what's the next thing on it? Like, I guess I could, but to me, I can see everything straight away. I'm like, oh, this has to go from left to right. That's it.
Then, like from my perspective as like a person who doesn't want to have to think about it, I would be more likely to go and ask Claude, hey, what are all the projects out? If I just needed to know, just a quick like summary and get that.
Or where's Zach up to? Or and that's the thing. It's almost like if I could see mobile becoming completely MCP driven, right? Maybe it's with glasses or something like that. And then you have your computer still as when I'm actually doing work. I could see that being more the case instead of a completely tear down. Because then at some point, all these platforms just become databases. And so if you just have databases everywhere, why wouldn't you just have one database for the things you care about?
I really liked what you shared the other day, Ken, the onboarding thing, like using an LLM to improve the onboarding because you just ask questions. And I love the idea of someone in a chat thing goes, I need to start using a project management tool for content. What should I use? And it's like, oh, well, you could use any Clipflow, this, depends, like, here's the prices. And you say, oh, can you just sign me up to Clipflow with everything you know about me? It's like communicates to the system and says, well, we need this information we don't have. And then like, it's just sign them up for it. And then here's your link to go to your dashboard. And you're like done all of that stuff. Like that's like super exciting stuff. I reckon it's going to do like some of the heavy lifting once it gets good enough to the point that like you don't have to do the perfect onboarding. You don't have to do the perfect way of searching and finding the right thing because it's filter. You can just communicate to it.
I would love to be able to just talk and say, especially for ideation, like, hey, can you just create a new idea? It's about this, and then add the link that we just saw on Twitter. Like Dia would hopefully be able to do something like that, where you can be like, just use this link and just create a new idea in Clipflow for me, thanks. And I don't have to go into the platform, and it just stores it. Like
certain tasks require the speed.
Yeah. So it's like I like, and if it can nail it, that's the key. It needs to be able to nail it. But I like that, but I think there's always like when you're like a specialist that needs to do volume work, there's always going to be a tool that's built just for that one thing. Like it's really just that. Whereas when it becomes like a wrapper on that, it's going to be very hard to maintain. But I'm excited for the widgets inside. I think when that goes, I'll go hard into that because I believe that is going to, the people that do that first is going to be amazing. It's like, because when you think about when you ask a chatbot now, what's the weather? It's like, one, you need to use a tool call, that's to do. But then it's like, here's the weather is 30 degrees. And it's like, cool, sunny. And then you're like, okay, or you could just show me a picture of a sun with a 30 degrees.
Yeah.
And like I've seen examples of what they're still trying to formalize the spec. But I think when that's done, I think that's something you go hard on.
Yeah. We're just visually motivated, dude. Like we're visually motivated. And you've got the rest of the world being like, use AI to record your journals and voice note to it. But then the response is all text. So it just feels like this disconnect right now if we're talking about interaction. But it would be so 100%. If I'm on the go, got a sick idea, hey Claude, this is sick, add it to Clipflow, it comes back and shows me a nice little widget saying that's been added. That gives me confidence. I'm like, oh, it's been added. And then I'm good. Yeah. And so then, but I'm still coming back.
If it could also like, it adds the idea, and then because the idea is added, we automate that it runs it past the channel strategist, and then the channel strategist talks back to the idea to the MCP and says like, have you thought about doing it this way? And you go, oh yeah, that's a great idea, just add that in. And like,
done. And we don't have to manage that whole chat thing.
100%. But this one makes me feel like if Apple really got it together with Siri or just their use of AI, this is where it hits, because now I'm just saying to my phone, which I have connected via MCP to Clipflow, hey, add this idea. And then it gives me the widget on my screen, hey, been added, and this person's reviewing it. And it's just, and Apple's managing that. Clipflow doesn't have to have a native integration. That's where I'm like, that's the best. Until then, I kind of feel like I'm going into another app when I could just go into this app.
And then we can come in here on Friday and be like, can you just sort the 5 most appropriate, like that'll perform the best into the draft column? And it's like, bloop, puts them in. They're ready to go.
I say,
but
that makes me wonder.
App is still in charge of that, right? Like the app has to do that work.
Yeah. But that's where I think, I'm just throwing stuff in the air. We can cut this if it's silly, but this part of what we're building in Clipflow, which is just that interaction collaboration with Clipflow itself and then your team, it just wouldn't surprise me if that sits here one day and it's like helping you manage those projects that way. Or some element of that where it's like, hey, because I love that we have a bunch of projects. I feel better when we have more projects in here, which means we're going to have more projects. And so being able to sort it that way, so being able to dynamically sort via that could be kind of sick. But again, I'm still in Clipflow and I still want to see it happening because it's a confidence thing. Yeah, that's why I don't use Claude. I'm not confident it's actually ticking this stuff off.
There was a video I shared which was talking about like the new version of UI, which is like LLM led UI, and how it has to give feedback as you're doing it. So he was doing like a to-do list app thing. He was talking to it, and then as he was talking to it, like it was creating the item, giving you an opportunity to abandon it, because like the LLMs, they serve something up. If you let them control the UI, there's no like escape hatch while it's processing. You just like, you put it in, it goes in, and you're like, oh no, or you don't see it. And like, you have to be really careful about like the loop of like, oh, actually I want to change that. Okay. So while it's trying to figure out what's he trying to change, it highlights that one and you confirm it. You say like, yes, that one, like you have to do this whole thing. Super interesting new problems that have come up that.
Yeah, man. Crazy, dude. So I guess we'll see what happens.
It's literally, it's just what you want as Javas, right? Can you run the schematics on that? Thanks. Like, can you? I freaking love Javas.
Such a good movie, dude.
I love that movie. Iron Man 1.
Oh, it's a bang. It holds up, bro. Holds up.
Widget thing, the chat widget thing is probably a really good opportunity as well for SEO or LLMEO, whatever they call it now, because they will prefer tools with widgets because they'll know that the user experience for their chat product is better if a widget is served. So even something like, can you do a quick YouTube niche analysis on my channel? Yeah, no worries. We'll use the Clipflow widget. Bang. And they're like, what's Clipflow? Just make a million of those little widget tools. Have someone doing that full time.
The way I'm thinking about, I actually thought about this morning, was like, I think LLMs and stuff like now is like the search V1. It's slow.
Yes.
It's clunky. It's lame. It's text only. Just think about Google V1, hyperlinks. And now it's like, you look at Google, it's like pictures, news, videos, and you're like, oh, sick. And that's what it's going to become. Like, it's going to become that. It's just going to be a new way of searching. Like, you use Perplexity.
OS. Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's just a different way, a better algorithm, really. Different algorithm to search. And
it kind of, it's like what we talked about. We talked about this so much, Ken, about browsers and stuff, but it wouldn't surprise me if that became mass adopted enough, then that just becomes the new OS. Where it's like, okay, I've just connected all my tools to that and widgets are so good, I don't need to see the whole app. I can just run most of my life, my banking, everything. I don't know if you'd want that, but you could. There'll be certain tasks, I guess, that would make sense. Like, it would be nice to be able to have one app where I manage all my tasks, my calendar, the projects I'm working on, linear, Clipflow. I guess it's kind of appealing.
Maybe.
Just haven't seen it yet.
But at the same time, sometimes I like having this, like,
talk about
boxes for things.
The
MCP security problems. In that you're giving an OpenAI server access to your database of private information. There's probably a lot of people won't be able to use it, like governments won't be able to do things like that. They have to figure out that security.
But you could run your own models too, yeah?
Yeah.
That'll have
crazy, man. Bring it on,
Sick
boys.
One.
Bring it on.
Go.